All right, I will call this meeting to order at 5:48. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next thing is roll call, please.
Mayor Terry Whitcomb.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jacqueline Wells. Councilmember Aaron Burr.
Here.
Councilmember Darrell Gardner. Councilmember Davari Martinez.
Here.
Councilmember Linda Smith. Yes. Councilmember Chris Weisenberg.
Here. All right, next thing on our agenda is approval, of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
The motion made and seconded to, approve the agenda as presented. Is there any, please open online voting.
Online voting is open.
I vote offline. Yes. Yes. I'm not logged in.
Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 5 yeas.
The thing on the agenda is, third and final reading of the ordinance, Councilman Smith.
I move to approve the third and final reading and waive the reading of the ordinance and amend the voting roll boundaries to reflect.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the third and final reading and waive the boundaries to reflect the population shift. Any discussion? Whatever you want, to vote.
Online voting is open.
Yes.
Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 5 yeas.
I will adjourn the meeting, noting that the next meetings are April 5th, 6th, and 7th, and the 14th.
Three-minute meeting. We're gonna stay like this, though.
This schedule is the same as was original, is that correct?
There's
As far as who's, when, and what times?
the airport, the original that was sent to you in your email, and the one that was put out a long time ago, the airport.
Oh, just,
Yes. So the council meeting on the 5th, you do have a work session at 6 o'clock. But I do have good news for the April 19th. April 5th will be a regular work session, and that will be budget. It will be 6 different, departments presenting their budget to you. 6 will be another set, will be 4 more departments, and that is just strictly a work session, and it starts at 6. 7th is the Thursday, that's the remaining departments will be presenting, and that's a work session as well at 6 o'clock. 14th is a special work session, a special meeting, council meeting, will be voting on all budgets. It'll be starting at 5:30.
Voting?
That will be at 5:30, and dinner will be provided to everybody in the members, and then also department heads. We will be meeting here in the chamber for all the meetings.
Then are we done with special meetings? We're done? We don't have to worry about no more?
Meeting like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So the 19th is your regular council meeting. It'll be the 19th, and right now there is no work session, there's not, I'm hoping to keep it totally open for you guys, so we won't have anything. But if the budget goes longer on the 14th, there is that date that if it's, we have the overflow, so. It's just, we'll get it done in 1 night.
We'll get through it, Lynn.
That's all about you. Okay, any other questions about? The paper, so we are in compliance. I will be at WAM, so I won't be available, I won't be in the office Thursday or Friday.
Fine.
Enjoy, meet a lot of new friends. The people.
Have a great evening.
Thank you.
And
I mean, it's done.
short review on how you feel. Because all right, my personal story since I was. Linda, you're one of the most effective.
Yes, I lost a lot of recognized that.
Oh, she's back.
Why, were you talking about?
No, I've convinced Linda into an interview.
You weren't here to protect me.
No wasted time.
Yes, I'm going to be losing. One's going to be able to redistrict because we did all the 3 wards equally. Really haven't, I know we had like or Walnut Street.
Or do you want to add to that? Or is it also?
Long time. Based on the fact that we lost.
Do you have any concerns that you guys are going to go through one?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with.
Or did you want to add anything on watching the time? You're over there.
Ward 1 is land-wise or square feet. How it goes on there.
They're not so good.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
We're almost there now. Want to add anything? Oh, that's it.
All right, we're ready to go. It's going to be in less than a minute. Call this meeting to order. And it looks to me like the first thing on our agenda is the child advocacy project with Liz. And, of course, okay, tell us your name and all that, and just let us know.
It is,
You can
okay.
catch it.
It is beginning talk, okay. Thank you, Mayor and council members. I appreciate you having us here. So I'm Stacy Nelson. I'm the executive director of Children's. Last year, I spent one of my friends at council meeting. I got to come back, so. So we conduct the forensic interview for child abuse cases for law enforcement jurisdictions. So they come to capture and they have their kids' families usually transport. They often, most of the time, pair up with BFF, and so that the idea of the whole multidisciplinary team approach is much better when everyone can attend those and for the, investigation purpose. So the reason behind that approach using an advocacy center, we only have 3 in the county, so we are very blessed to be able to be kind of central. And it's just meant to make it a little easier for the kids when they're going through all of these horrible types of abuse. So for last year for Carbon County, we did 18 interviews. If I remember correctly, my Sherry Fernald, who came last year, said that you would ask about the difference city versus county cases. So I did check. So last year of the 18 cases, 15 the city of Raleigh. So I don't think I did do the breakdown. 12 of those 18 total were for sexual abuse cases, which is the majority of the cases we had 354 interviews altogether last year. But we also conduct cases, the forensic interviews. We related to physical abuse, witness to domestic violence, witness to other kinds of treatment. Most often, a case involving drug and danger kids, ketamine, those kind of. So that, a lot of times people ask why we do the witness case. A lot of times those kids have a lot of information, law enforcement be able to follow up on it to help them corroborate things that have happened in the situation. That also helps us identify what the kids might need, what kind of trauma they've been through, because just maybe being physically hurt, a lot of those things can really cause a lot of trauma for kids. Like what they've gone through and what kind of counseling they might need, even if they're, like I said, if they're not the so, in your team of investigators, when they come up, we, obviously for you guys, the primary thing we do is the forensic interview. But we will also help kind of identify if they feel like they need counseling. We really focus on getting the kids therapy that focuses more on trauma, and I know that's a big word with a lot, trauma-focused counseling. The counselors that we have when they use the trauma-based therapy, it's not just a 6-hour online training that people get, it's actually 40-hour training plus a lot of follow-up. So we look for therapists in communities that are not from counselors that have that same type of training correctly. But our primary thing for you guys is, and we've been pretty busy. I know for you guys, just January, February, we did 7 interviews. We've had several more. we're just happy to be able to help the kids and help Ron know that he and the DFS worker that were here last week actually said that one of the interviews we had done, I think a couple months prior, it's hard to keep track, but they said that the interview really helped them. Because obviously, it's all about the kids and what they feel comfortable disclosing. But in this particular case, the child had disclosed quite a bit, and it was actually pretty heartbreaking, but, they disclosed so much that the investigators were able to follow up on a lot of different aspects, corroborate what was happening. As a result, they're able to charge a lot more than they anticipated. The person is found guilty. But it could be. So that made everybody on the team happy, because we just wanted. Our request from you guys this year is $5,500, which is that use us, and some can't help at all, and some, like you guys, always help, so. You guys have questions? Okay.
That's something that you. More.
Well, we always appreciate more funding, but I truly feel like it's an appropriate request for what we do for you guys, even if we do our kids, which based on the number so far, we are already, well, we exceeded what we did last year for the whole year. But, we were blessed to receive a grant from the Wyoming. So that, even though we've been told we will be receiving federal cuts, I think the balance of it works well, so I felt really comfortable asking that amount. Unless something crazy happens.
Anything else that we could help you with other than?
No, I think we do a lot of Facebook. I know we're connected with on Facebook and social media, so sharing all of those. We try to do a lot of pieces through our social media just to raise awareness. In fact, we're doing a pinwheel, planting our garden next week for child abuse. So, sharing that kind of thing, because a big part of it is we're trying to get aware that you sport in Wyoming, everyone's a mandate. A lot of people don't understand. Yesterday, that they had disclosed to someone that, like, they were mandated reports.
I really appreciate what you, I just want to say that.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. So we have our fundraiser in June this year, so we're bringing in a comedian from, well, so we're doing that, and then we have a trap shoot contest. You guys have a bunch of traps. You guys can always come and join in on our fundraiser. In fact, we've had a couple of out-of-county people call us, so we don't have to be boxing. You're of course invited to that as well.
Yeah, Stacy, I just wanted to commend you and your program, service in Wyoming, and request or saying yes to your request, and all of them, I think that service in Wyoming, and with it.
I hate to rush you, but.
No, I understand everything.
We're fine, right?
Sure, let me go first so I can drive back home.
I drive safely.
Send us some rotation, so we know.
Okay.
when
I
to-
will. We're hiring too, if anybody's on the therapist. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up is, Stepping Stones, Youth Home. Is anybody here from Stepping Stone? All right, then we'll go to the next one, Boys and Girls Club of Carter County.
Oh, I don't see it at all.
Yeah.
You know,
Card.
I'm sure I recognize you, I think I've seen her.
Well, Mayor and City Council, I want to thank you for your support, boys and girls. Most of you may not know, we've been in existence from Big Line, there are 6 clubs, which would, after these clubs served 6,264, for 18,666 total. But last year, we did 33% of those are from the high school, 19 of those at March 8th, they served 102 kids. 10% are from the elementary school, 31% are from 7% middle school, and 5% of those are from single parent. Most of our funding comes
Can you pull the microphone
Yeah.
closer to you?
Okay.
I'm sorry, Chris is so old and he can't. Yes.
I'm old too.
Just go ahead and pull it clear over to you. There you go.
You know? So most of our funding comes from the Wyoming Department of Education, like, which is temporary. That's our scholarship program. Any fund either comes from Walmart or local businesses. I would say compared to last year, we are asking, partially because of COVID, and our summer programs that teach seven of our kindergartners, we opened our program last year, just into the program, acclimated to voices. Last year. So our summer program is actually theme-based. Every week, we have, the biggest theme is, they love Pet Week, so we have I don't want to go into interesting one. So I don't think this program really works. I have some kids who go that way and become what's the club member? Because scholarships to go to offer scholarships for those who give it.
I've been up there, God bless you, I couldn't do it. But the kids enjoy it, the ones that I know that go there, you know, they bring in, they beat the heck out of what alternatives they. Anybody have any questions?
On the revenues, operating expenses, buses, the red, you get $2,604. How do you make up, or what do you do to overcome?
Well, that was kind of a glitch that happened. We had, a problem, we submitted. So, don't like to lay people off, I haven't done it yet, but sometimes.
Thank you. Anybody from Stepping Stones showed up yet? So the next thing on our agenda is to hear from, the Carbon County, Child Development Program. Didn't recognize your work.
So we're gonna talk to you today about the child and adult care food program that we used to feed our children with, and so we're gonna hand you on to Smith. Because it's not COVID, so we can, right? Right?
Don't say anything once you have the snacks.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're talking about today, is you really get over. Come on.
You have maybe good snack, I think, or?
You wash your hands before you eat, right? And after.
There's no peanut allergies, right?
No. So, Honorable Mayor, City Council members, thanks for your time and for this opportunity. I'm Denise Clark, the Fiscal Officer for Carbon County Child Development Program. And this is Harley Mascarenas. She is the health specialist and in charge of the nutrition component for our program. As a head start program, we provide 2/3 of the nutrition requirements during each school day. That includes breakfast, lunch, and an afternoon snack. And what you have in front of you is what we would typically serve for an afternoon snack, okay? We have been providing in-person services all school year with increased safety protocols in all areas of the program. Meal service has changed from family style to food being plated for each child by the staff wearing gloves and a mask. Condiments are no longer in squeeze bottles placed on the table, but they're in single portion cups, which is what you. We're also experiencing difficulty ordering some of the food items for the children due to supply shortages. I'm sure we've all experienced the rising cost of food at our local stores, and I looked back on some receipts, and on 10/7/20, milk was $2.19 per gallon. 9/22, it was $2.79 per gallon. Today it's 27% increase on each gallon of milk, and I serve 4 gallons of milk each day at the Rollins program. They go through 4 gallons of milk every day to their. The fuel surcharge for delivery from Cisco was $4.70 on 1/7/21, and we just received a letter saying that it will go up to $8.30 beginning of the quarter, starting April 1st. That's a 76% increase. Received reimbursement from the Child and Adult Care Food Program for expenses relating to nutrition. But due to these difficulties, the expenses are an average of $1,400 more than the reimbursement each month for 9 months. That equals $12,600 for the school year. For example, the snack you received tonight costs $1.05 to prepare, and that doesn't include any personnel charges. That was just me. That's just for the supplies, and we are reimbursed $1 by the food program for that snack. Another thing that we just received was with the critical water shortage. We did stay open. We closed that Thursday afternoon, but then we stayed open. We opened Monday as business as usual, but we bought all paper plates and cups. We bought plasticware. We served cereal and sandwiches, things we didn't have to cook. We didn't have to washer. So we did the best we could, and we were able to remain open. So thank you for your generous support, and we're truly grateful, and I entertain any questions you might have.
I don't have any questions, I just have praise. Sorry?
As you, some food and stuff, asking for the same,
So we increased our request,
you did?
yeah, from 9,000 to 12,600, we did.
Okay. That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, we did.
Seemed to me that if there's problems anyway, now with this increase,
these, will this 12,600 covered for the year, do you think?
It will, and we also do have some of the CRRSA and ARP monies left over that will supplement, for our summer program, so we're gonna be okay with it, thank you.
Any other questions?
Just to thank you as well, I mean, there's a lot of volunteers there.
Thank you guys, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for the snack.
You're welcome.
Good call.
That's right. Now we don't have to go angry.
All right, the next, group up is Carbon County Code.
My name is Jennifer Evans. I'm the executive director with Carbon County Code. Sitting beside me is she's new. So the new face for Code. For those of you that don't know what we do, we're a nonprofit advocacy agency. We provide services for victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking. Some of the services that we provide, we can provide emergency financial assistance, advocacy, and support. We do have a safe house, referrals, transportation, emergency, and but there's a lot that we can do. COPE serves an average of approximately 70 to 100 plus victims and survivors per year, and their children. So families that we serve. To date, we have served 76 victims and survivors, with 3 months remaining in the fiscal year. So, and we're starting to see and so that could change drastically. For our fiscal year 2021-2022, we were able to successfully reduce and eliminate some of our expenses. One of the significant ones was our move to the Pine Street location. That move saved us approximately $63 because that location holds no rental cost. The reason that it doesn't hold any rental costs, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but that location was donated, was acquired through a community development block grant, and the property was conveyed to Carbon County in 1988. So that location has been sitting there for a very long time. It has been the office. We have been we rented it out. So now we're moved back in there. So we're excited about that location and saving some money, because that allows us to allocate the funds to better assist our victims in the community. With that being said, for the upcoming fiscal, COPE is requesting $15,000. That is not an increase from what we were generously awarded last year. We are continuing to see in our state and federal funding. We were told all domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking programs within Wyoming were told by or advised by the Wyoming Division of Victim Services that we would see a $1 million cut across the board in funding in Wyoming. It was pretty bad. So with the expected cut in funding, we are worried that we won't be able to provide the services. We need to make them feel safe and try to now for this safe environment for them to be Funding received from the city of Rollins would assist our agency with the sustainability and the ability to continue operating the assembly. Specifically for emergency financial assistance, and maintaining the safe house. We have the only safe house in Carbon County we operate. So being able to maintain that and make the repairs and supplement some of the things that we need to be able to run the safe house is really important. And replenishing, so when we have someone in the safe house, we do have to buy groceries and toiletries and, gas for them to get back and forth to work if they, so it can get really costly. Sometimes we have, victims in there for a couple weeks at a time because it does get costly. Victims in shelter. We also have a problem with sometimes things getting damaged, which we're experiencing now, at the safe house, and the donations that we do get, for furniture and clothing and dishes, kind of balance that out between providing it to the victims if we set them up, housing, we get them housing, and then replenishing some of the so, yeah, we just don't want to be able to turn anyone away because of the cuts that we're seeing. So, anything, any kind of money that would be. I do have a sexual assault support group as a vision for COPE in the upcoming year. We've had a lot of requests for a need for a sexual assault support group. So that's kind of what we're wanting to do with some of our funding. And then also trying to get a volunteer-based, more volunteers on board with just the two of us. It's hard to do everything we do, shelter, outreach, serving the volunteer program. We're just helping better serve our victims.
Yeah, I appreciate the service you guys offer. I just got a question, on the financial information here. You don't receive any other funds from any other agencies or across the county either? Have you approached Saratoga and those other, communities also? Because you said you're the only safe house in Carbon County.
We are, and no, we haven't. We have tried to get into the county commissioners. We've been told they don't have the money for us. So we just kind of asking. I didn't know that we could have Saratoga and
Yeah, if you
that's good to know.
well, if you house people from all over the county, for example, you should be able to ask every community.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say stop here, right? I'm saying reach out and get more if you can.
Yeah, that's helpful, because I think.
And Jennifer, in years past, maybe about 15 years ago now, but, Saratoga would give like 500.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
in Canton, 250 nominal, but it stacks up when you have 9 communities.
Okay, yeah,
I would sure like to know that and ask them.
Okay.
And there's an organization called Council of Governments, and we meet once a month. That would be another organization where you could come and ask all of the communities. All 10 of them are almost always there. So I'm on that board. So sometimes just call or whatever, and we can put you on the agenda, and then you whole county at the same time.
Okay, that's wonderful, thank you.
Thank you for what you guys do. I wish you did any business or have anything to do, but sadly enough, it's a very needed service, and the people that educate us.
Also that, I can't tell you how important your just gonna
Yes,
go up. Okay. Last year.
We do, we see it quite a bit, and mainly what we're having the problem with when we see the turnarounds, in the people coming in, they're stuck in, you know, housing is hard to find anyway, and then they're stuck, families are stuck in little motels together, tensions, you know, rise and escalate, and then there's, you know, there's fighting. So we do see when they're cramped, when their families and they're in cramped, you know, hotel rooms and housing is expensive, yeah. Yes,
So that working together.
yes, with the sheriff's office and the police department, we all work together, yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else, anything else? Well, thank you for what you do.
Thank you for supporting us.
All right, next thing on our agenda is the Carbon County Economic Development Corporation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So, I sent kind of an extensive packet. So I don't know if you've had time to review, what has been going on with EDC in the past year. Like 3 pages? You got it? Yeah, you go, okay. So I'm not gonna go over everything that, that I have been doing in the last year, very present, as you know, with the city, so I think that you all know what I've been doing. But just a few highlights, kind of going back in a little bit of a timeline. As you know, I just was hired a year and a half ago and, did a big event in August where Governor Gordon, came to Sarasota, and we had, it was a very impactful, event that really affected and did what EDC needed, and it put us on the map. And since that event, I have been nonstop hitting the ground. As you can see at the beginning of your, on the front page there, there's numbers by the community right at the very top. I cannot disclose what projects those are, so that's what I'm currently working on. Specifically with the city right now, we just had a meeting today, it was Wyoming Recycle Recovery Corporation. And today was I thought was a very good meeting. But I have to say there's a relationship between and the municipality, different organizations, is the bond is getting stronger. You know, we're reaching out and working together better. And is it the best? No, but a strong faith that will is getting stronger. So one of the projects, let's see, funds that were raised from the event, EDC was able to purchase a vehicle for me, as you can see, traveled from January to March, 15,450 Carbon County miles, 2,200 was out of county. So as I said, you know that I'm not sitting behind my desk eating bonbons. And, oh, snacks, right? It looks like I'm a big snack, but it's okay. So it's been really a very, very good year. Still planning to get some more education. And, I'm hoping to be going to, Kansas City, in August, for Brownfield, convention, and also to further my, IEDC, International Economic Development, Council. I went through the basic course, and I'd like to move on and go on to the second, which I think is upcoming in June. We have a full board of directors. We have not had that, and, for a long time. So, that's been very exciting. We are now contracted with Ayers Associates, as you, have heard about them, and you're going to be hearing more about Ayers. They've been very, very good mentors, for us, and I think that they're going to prove to be good mentors for your new economic development director. Let's see. And then the most exciting too is that EDC was, approved for me to have an administrative assistant. And I have her 10 hours a week. We're still adjusting. I wasn't expecting it to happen so quickly, so we've had her for a month, and we're working. She's already been very helpful, but we've got some tweaking. I'm not a good delegator. So with that, I also would like to introduce you, I'm sorry, Dorothy Wilkerson. She's a new, board member and is representative for Sinclair Refining, Wyoming Refining. Wonderful. Have any questions for me? Oh, HF, Sinclair.
I don't have any questions, but I gotta tell you, I know you're doing a lot. I see it, I feel it. A lot of projects are being accelerated by you, and I do appreciate it. There's just a lot going on, and, seems like you're aware of it, so. Several of the projects in our town you have helped with. I appreciate that. Well, I mean,
You're doing a great job. Very much. And I have a letter of support, may I wrote to you, Jabari. Please let you know that. Thank you.
thank you.
You can open it.
All right, so the next up is the Carbon County Senior Services. How are you?
Great, how are you?
Good.
I don't have snacks, but I have some light reading.
So now we have reading, file reading.
It's not homework. Kind of gives you an idea of what's been going on at the senior center and what's up and coming.
This is my favorite part already.
Research,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Lisa Ingstrom, I'm the Director of Senior Services. I think all of you know me, but just in case. I've been in this position for almost 9 years now, and I can remember, like yesterday, my very first time here, I had been on the job, I think, 2 weeks, and I had to come here the first time. So, I'm gonna say it really doesn't get any easier. So forgive me, but I'm always a nervous wreck.
Nobody, you don't have to be afraid of anybody but the party.
And we gave give him a smack.
I think he's good.
So, a little bit about what's been going on with Carbon County Senior Services in the last year. We're finally, in most of our centers, getting back to what we like to, I think everybody refers to as pre-COVID time. We're still not seeing quite as many folks doing the dine-in, partially because we're still allowed by the feds to do takeout for those folks who still may be uncomfortable in that congregate setting in a big group. Maybe they've got, extreme medical issues and they're just uncomfortable being in a group setting. So we're seeing in some of my centers and even in Rollins, we're seeing some people still doing the takeout, utilizing the takeout option. And even some of them stayed on home delivered, once again, for that reason. Maybe they can't drive themselves to the center, so they're utilizing home delivery. But we're slowly seeing some of them, coming back in. Activity-wise in Rollins, we're booming. We're actually running out of room at our center, which is a good problem to have. We really don't have a lot of space in the building throughout the day to add more activities. So I can't complain in that regard. So we've got bigger card groups coming in, still doing our Tai Chi, bingo, bunco. We've had several different entities coming in and doing speaking engagements. Things like tomorrow, Bank of Commerce is coming in and doing a presentation on fraud awareness. We've had one of the gals from Bio Health come in and talk about the ERAP assistant program, the rental assistant program. So we're getting a lot of people wanting to come in and do presentations for seniors too. So things they're looking up in that regard. Downside to all of that, with all of the COVID, as we've already heard several times already, is the rising costs of everything. Food supplies, we're seeing greater increase in costs with the to-go type packaging, whether it's for home delivered or takeout. That increases our costs. So folks that are still doing the takeout option and not dining in, that adds to our costs with all of the to-go packaging. So we are seeing a definite increase in. So as you can see, I did increase our ask this year. We have not increased our ask over the last few years, but I did increase it by $5,000 from to help supplement some. As it is right now, and I'm still very early in our budgeting, we don't know a lot of what we're going to get from grants yet. So a lot of, you see, like in my budget, a lot of things still show requested but not approved or estimated. I really don't know what some of those numbers are yet. But right now, if things stand roughly as they are, and I'm fairly close with those estimations, and taking into consideration the rising costs we're seeing, we're looking at having to fundraise, even with our increase in request, just to make ends meet. Now, there's other, opportunities possibly we can, other grant opportunities. We're hoping there is possibly some ARPA funding that is going to come down through the Department of Health System for nutrition program. We had to struggle to get the match money required dollars from the state, so we got the legislature to put some of that money into the general fund so that the Department of Health can pull down some of those dollars, and so we hopefully can find a way to get some of that, but we won't know anything. So, like I said, there's a lot of pluses, but that also, unfortunately, in how to make ends meet. I'm trying to keep our staff, where they're wanting to stick with us, we certainly. But doing the best we can, every day, and there's a lot of good things going on. It's great. Love to see other people back. And we'll do whatever it takes.
With all the uncertainty, with all the funding and whatnot, it just makes it so hard, if not impossible, to do long-term. And I think you're watching you over the years, well, the food's amazing. We don't eat there very often, but when we do, it's, and, the fellowship's all awesome.
It's been wonderful hearing the conversation and the laughter, and when they're playing games, we have some really, really competitive people. So, just the jabs at each other and the cheering and it just warms my heart to have people. That was a rough year. But, not just on us, but even on the folks, we saw such a decline in many of them from being, so it's so great to get them back and playing that fellowship with each other and all the fun activities.
Got a little bit of time, I'll tell you a funny little story about my mom. She wouldn't go to the senior center, she would not go, no matter what. And, my sisters, everybody tried to get her to go, she wouldn't go. So finally, one year for Christmas, she said, what do you want for Christmas? And I knew she didn't have any money, so I said one of two things. I either want a brand new Corvette, or I would like you to go with Aunt Linda or Aunt Loretta to the senior center for lunch. I'm not going up there, and blah, 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 all them old people, and on and on and on and on. And, so one day she called me and told me, well, did you enjoy your Christmas present? I went with Aunt Loretta, and I said, did you have a good time? And she goes, I had a wonderful time. All my friends are there, and she couldn't wait to go the next time, but just to break that ice, to get her to go. And then, of course, my sisters didn't come, because they conned her into it. They had no idea I did a con job, But she went, she enjoyed it, and it's a very necessary service. Mom, getting out and getting in public and talking to other people, and why not, just big changes. And it was awesome, and I see that up here too.
Getting them in the door is the key. Most of the time, once we get them in that front door, like you said, they realize, oh, all my friends are here.
Yeah.
But there is it's sometimes a big challenge just getting them. A lot. My dad at 89 told me he was not old enough to go to the senior center. How old is he?
Yeah.
You hear those things a lot.
It's kind of like with my mom, the old people found out they were her age.
Any questions on these? Thank you.
So, had a schedule quite a ways, but I do notice that, High Country Behavioral Health is here, so, we'll let you get done and.
Thank you. Everybody hear me? Honorable Mayor and, members of the council, my name is Marilyn Bernal Ross, and I'm with High Country Behavioral Health, formerly known as Carbon County Counseling Center. We merged, in 2020. We know a lot about what we provide. We provide individual, groups, family counseling, group counseling, marriage therapy. We provide substance use disorders services. We have in our facility now in Rollins, we have the Ohana House, but we also have another residential home, a program that's in Douglas. There's actually lots of our locations. I want you to know that the money that we receive stays in Rollins and provides services for the Rollins group, the Rollins community. But the one thing I do want to talk about, since the pandemic, a lot of what has happened with telehealth services. And, I think it's so important to touch on that, because now that we're in a bigger facility, even though it's just Rollins, it's not just Rollins. We're involved with all our other locations, and the neat thing about it is we can provide services now that we couldn't via telehealth. If our therapists are busy or we need a specific service, we can go to one of the other centers. And so
nice thing about, you know, getting together and merging with High Country Behavioral Health. You know, we are the only CARB accredited facility. Now, we were with Carbon County Counseling Center, but High Country is also, they're also a state agency too. And we're not state, but we're private, not-for-profit, but we're contracted through the state. And part of the requirement is that we have to be CARB accredited. CARB accredited stands for Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities. The neat thing what's important about CARB, and I wanted to touch up a little bit on CARB because that wasn't on our paperwork to you. You know, it just tells us that we're the best and we're trying and doing the best that we can. And we have requirements that we have to pass to be CARB accredited. So it's not like we can just do everything haphazardly. You know, we have to have a best business practice, and we get CARB accredited either 1 year or 3 years. I'm proud to say that in the last, maybe 9 years, we've been, every time we come, we're accredited for 3 years. So that's good, because that tells us that we're doing what we should be doing to be the best that we can be in Carbon County. Let's see what else. We do, you know, now we have a website, which we did before, but I'd like to invite you to take a look at it. You know, it's under highcountrybehavioralhealth.org. I'll tell you what, it is so nice because we post information articles on there for everybody, for the public to see. You know, what we do here in Rollins is we also print these publications. We print these articles and put them in our front office so that we can share with people coming into our office. Right now, there's some articles in there that are, you know, of course, the military life, grieving the old life, you know, coping with chronic illnesses, diseases and pain, seasonal affective disorders, you know, just different issues that people go through that sometimes are really helpful. And if they, hey, well, you know what, we can touch out. You know, we can reach out and touch these people and, you know, maybe they can help us with something. You know, and we've gotten a lot of referrals from the website, you know, and it's just, it's a different atmosphere now and a different environment. People go online for services. And I think that's one of the neat things about our telehealth services is, you know, for example, we have a therapist, a couple of them in Laramie, that they provide services for our Rollins residents. We have been able to reach out more easily to Saratoga, to Banks, to all those different outlying areas where we were having trouble reaching out, you know, before, because driving back and forth and, you know, people like telehealth. We also provide telepsychiatry. So we do have a psychiatrist that we contract with, and he sees all of our clients throughout all our locations. Right now we have 8 locations in Wyoming and 2 in Idaho and stuff. Let's see. You know about Ohana, so that's the long-term group home. Then our newest one is Solutions House Transition. It's a psychiatric rehabilitation program for adults with serious mental illness. The difference between Solutions House and Ohana is that Solutions is a psychiatric rehabilitation program. It's a 24-hour program. So it's staffed 24 hours, where our Ohana House is not. Because it's just the difference between levels of care. One is a higher level of care, where the other one, it's a step down. They're learning in Ohana to live independently, you know. Let's see what else I've got. it. I did also want to thank, the council for their, not just financial support, but their emotional support throughout the years and stuff. It's just, you know, it's been nice to know, remember when we came and we wanted to move we wanted to move Ohana into their new facility? And, you know, the city was real helpful with that and real supportive. So I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for that, okay? Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, dear.
Just speak up a little bit, because I'm hard of hearing.
Marion, you stated in your presentation that you served 234 clients in the Rollins area. Has that increased over the past year or two, or is this about normal? Or?
It's about the same. It's about normal. And yeah, I don't think it's increased. But the nice thing about it is to know that we can still provide service for that many clients, and yet our staff has been clinical staff. So because all these other opportunities that we've had as far as telehealth and bringing people in and being able to work with interns and stuff, we're still able to provide that quality of care.
We have local board members on it.
We do. We have Tim Hoffman went over, and I think you're Kelly on board. You were our president before, right?
Yeah, but we were still, Carbon County Council, president of the board, member of High Country.
And what High Country does is when we do a merger, like we just recently did a merger with Douglas, so we brought on Douglas, Lusk, and can't ever think of the place, hold on a second, because I've got it right here. It's, Glenrock, Lusk, and Douglas, and that's the way they were set up to begin with, as Solutions for Life. But when we brought them on, every time someone merges, I think they bring on 2 of their board members. So that even though we're located across the state, we have local representation.
Do you get out to the other communities in the county regarding the funding?
Yes, we do. Well, and I'll tell you what, our last series, we went, you know, like, we send letters out, like the town of St. Clair, and they usually, you know, even if it's $100 here, $200 there, it all adds up and stuff. What we have found is we were involved with United Way, and what we found is that United Way had such a small amount that they were collecting, and we felt like we were taking it away from other facilities that were 100% funded by them. And so at that time, our director decided we weren't going to go that route. You know, so because, you know, the railroad used to give them quite a bit of money. And, you know, with things changing and, you know, money problems and stuff, they just don't get the funds that they used to.
I don't think it's right that reach out to the rest of the county and then the other communities ought to be helping you too with your financing.
And, you know, I'll tell you what, like the town of St. Clair, I think it's cute because every year they send us their check. You know, saying, hey, thank you for services, and, you know, Saratoga does the same.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, we do reach out, but, you know, they've got a smaller budget, and so,
That's right.
you know.
A little bit will count.
But every, oh, yeah. You know.
Marilyn, how long have you worked for that organization?
I have worked for High Country Behavioral Health since 2020, but I have been involved with, like Carbon County, and then we merged over for 37 years.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, I've been here a long time. And, you know, it's nice to see the changes that have taken place, and our technology, you know, that we're able to help so many people, you know, in better ways. You know, there's a lot of people that don't want to leave their home, and it wasn't anything to do with the pandemic. You know, that might be an issue that they're working on. They don't want to leave their homes, and yet we can still reach out to them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
Hey, thank you. No more questions?
All right, we're gonna take a 10-minute break.
I accept. Don't care if the rest of you, I accept.
The 1 hour mark, exactly. Probably. Yes, that's my most official job. Phone battery changing, camera back and forward.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you again. Have a good night. This is perfect.
We're running ahead of schedule, which is very uncommon.
You did it here.
We gotta make sure you're caught off guard, otherwise.
You did.
Absolutely. You can keep.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, we probably will. And I'll
Well, not after that, we get off the ground.
Yeah, we usually, you know, try to like.
You try to get ahead of the curve.
Right.
When I say that,
That's not what-
whoa, I got that thing.
I'm way behind.
Yeah, not on against your desk. I know.
I got a lot of them running around.
100%. Maybe.
Here we go.
All right, so, tell us who you are and go from there.
I'm Margaret Quintal, and I'm with Pet Partners, and this is Susan Lamb, who's part of the board, and Joey Marandino, our TNR director. And we've come because we try to help control the feral cat population in our city, or in our county, actually. We get calls from Saratoga, Hannah, Holland. We have about 4 callings that are, people are wanting us to start to trap and spay and neuter the cats, and we help relocate them if people do not want them at all in their neighborhoods come back, but it is time consuming because we have restricted space for the cats. So I did print up a little banner of how many cats can populate with just 1 male and 1 female. So this tells us, well, if 2.8 kittens survive in each litter, you can expect 12 cats a year, and it just keeps going because they can up to 3 litters a year. If we are lucky in our region, because it gets cold and they tend to not eat during the winter months because it is so cold. So, we're coming to help to get support from the city to help us be able to continue to do the spays and neuters and relocate them. We help the city when they call and they don't deal with the feral cats, so they call us, so we try to deal with them. And locate them to barns and couches and garages. And we do have this, thank you. We do have a spay and neuter coupon that we offer to everybody in Carbon County that they can spay and neuter. So we help the community also spay and neuter their cats. We also help them to spay and neuter their dogs. So we have people applying for that. And we did take in 201 cats last year that we trapped or we took custody of and helped find homes and had them. And currently, we've taken in 15 cats this year already, 22. And we still are looking to place 4 from last. And we did 88 coupons last year. And we've done 10 so far this year. Help stay in here. We are doing more advertising. Get their animal. Want to puppies and.
I don't think you'll run out of work anytime soon.
I don't think so.
We have to get overdrive, man.
Well, they started to breed early. We got a litter
Yeah, we got
from a feral mom that's about 3 weeks old. I think they were breeding in January.
Warmer, I think, this year.
I think we did have a warm spell at that house. And we request anybody that's adopted kittens from us. We charge $50 for the kitten, but if it's an adult cat that we've had for a long time, then we do allow them to take it. The adults are harder to place.
ones that are more costly, most of the.
So anything that gets adopted from us gets first year shots. So that's, 2 CBRC vaccines, rabies vaccine, they get 1 deworming, and then they get, if they're not spayed and neutered, because they're like 8 weeks old or whatever, then they get a coupon for a free spay and neuter that's good at either vet in town. That comes with your $50, kitten fee, and then even if they're an adult, they still get all that, but since they, like she said, the adults are harder to place, we don't charge for these. And I think a lot of people that just put their cats outdoors.
I understand that. What I'm trying to say is if you're trying to have a nice yard, those cats, there's no way to control them. They climb, they go over those fences. Thing about the deer, I haven't said anything about the cats. All the hostage animals that destroy property allow you to have a nice yard, period. That's a people problem. I don't know how to address that, because I'm not into that, but out my window and back and forth, probably because of the demolition area where they have.
Get a lot of cats out there.
Yeah, they have a lot of, they haven't put them down there because of the.
And I think people abandon them down there too, because we get a lot of calls where, hey, these friendly cats showed up at my barn, where did they come from? And people get tired of their animals and they just.
There's a difference between a pet. And if it's a pet, you go up to them, they don't run, they just lay there.
Right.
And you've got some that are in and out of that yard of mine, and they're a mess. I don't know the answer to it, I just wanted, I didn't know.
I think DNR is the answer, but it takes a long time, and we are limited by space, money, volunteers, and then how many appointments, we can get at Dr. McFarland's office. And last year, towards the end of the summer, he got really sick, so unfortunately, we were really pinched at the end of the year, because they only give us so many on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then when he got sick, we got like none. So there's a lot of factors on why we can't do more, but we want to do more. I mean, we want to do as many as we can get.
Or Rollins area, outside the county.
We don't go outside the county, but we do have a lady in bags that traps, and there's a vet in bags that takes care of those. We just send a check, for the bag woman, and that's not very often. She only catches a few cats a year. And then we do get calls from Hannah and Saratoga, not so much Sinclair. But those people, since all are volunteers, and there's only about 3 of us that actually are physically volunteering and not just sitting on the board, we all live in Rollins, so we have to ask those people to kind of help meet us halfway, especially with the price of fuel right now. That's kind of a shocker to all of us. But, so we do a few cats, I mean, not like we do in Rollins. Rollins is our main point for feral cats. I mean, we'll give our, the community assistance coupons, we'll send them all over the county, but we do stay within Carbon County. We don't help anybody outside the county.
Yes, I just want to commend you for the work you all do, because I'm one of those people that all of my pets, all 6 of them, 2 of them are from, Joy knows one of them very well. And I know you do a lot of care of cats, and just wanted to ask, all of your funding comes from donations, is that correct? And not, you're running this program on donations and whatever the city can provide.
We do have a few fundraisers. We do a, sorry, am I cutting off? Okay, we do, a garage sale once a year.
But that's from donated from the.
Yeah, the people donate.
They donate the items, and then we have a large garage sale, so that's still from donations. And we haven't had to buy food because the community has been so generous donating the litter and the cat food, so we really haven't had to purchase. Notice on the Facebook that we're running low, and then the donations just start coming in because people
we have room for them.
I would say that all of our money, that pretty much goes for that bill. And we even help the sick ones. Even if like the shelter comes up with a big medical bill, we try to help with those because they get shocked with, oh my gosh, here, somebody brought me this cat and it's, really sick and our stuff, we try to donate our money towards that to help them. And we do, let's see, so if you put your city market card to Pet Partners, we get a chunk of that.
Amazon Smile,
Amazon Smile.
we get donations from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot, it's a couple $100 a quarter, but it's something.
Yeah, how do you do that?
How do you do the city market card?
Yeah, on the Amazon, how do we?
If you log into Amazon Smile, you can look Pet Partners up. And you just have to remember to log into Amazon Smiles every time you log in. And I do it every time, I order from Amazon all the time. And then if you log in under Kroger's Cares, you can also select Pet Partners. You have to log in under your, and anytime you scan your card at City Market.
I certainly appreciate it. I was used to be involved a little bit more in Pet Partners, and they always kept trying to get me to go work at the kennel, and I can't do it, or I do no order.
You get over that real quick.
I'm not really good. I leave there so depressed every time. It's like, I want to take that poor dog home with me or whatever, and, God bless you for you guys being able to do it, because I do it. But we do have this, problem with the cat. Can you imagine what it'd be like without these folks? It'd be horrible.
Honestly, we wish we could track them all and get them all done, but like I said, we are limited by, especially the amount of appointments they give us, because they do give us a discount, so they're not gonna take every single appointment they have and give it to us. They have to make money somewhere, so they leave a lot for their customers and then just give us a small chunk of their, and, the amount of cages.
It's a huge project.
So it's run by volunteers, and this book right here is tracking of every cat that Pet Partners last year. We record where we brought them in from, if we placed them anywhere, and all their medical records are in here and it's all by volunteers, nobody.
Last year?
This is just 21, the 200 cats with the adoption. And then we have to follow a list of the do not adopt too, that people try to.
Thank you. All right, so the next group, if they're here, is Project Reach. All right. So, you will.
Oh, just kidding, that's a person from High Country Behavioral Health.
Okay.
So maybe can you tell them that Mr. Dana?
Yes, ma'am.
We actually were early and Marilyn presented already.
All right, I
So,
just sent her a text to see if she had been in there already. So sounds good.
Did a good job for you.
Great job.
Okay. All right. Well, take care. We'll see you guys at another meeting sometime.
So is there anybody here from, Project Reach? Okay, going down the list here, Rollins, Carbon County Chamber of Commerce. That would be me. How are you? Good.
Willie Jefferson, Chairman of the Rollins Chamber of Commerce. Honorable Mayor Terry Whitcomb, thank you. Council members, thank you for the opportunity to funding. We appreciate the funding you've given over the past. The Chamber has done some good things. We've overcome some tough things. We know we're continuing excited about the opportunities that faces. Over the past year, we've looked at some things that are very fundamental for the Chamber. We've adjusted our mission statements that would lend to growing better relationships with businesses here in town, friendships and relationships with other entities are on the rise. We continue to reach out and try to cultivate those as well. Working well with nonprofits and entities is one of our core values that we have now initiated and look forward to. One of the things we've done this year, we've done several. One is, I think, which top of the list is we moved. We got to move over to share and rent space from in the same building. It's nice to be in something that's a little bit more updated and non-drafty. So that was good. We had large events, 6 of them this year, that I would say successful. But in that process, we are also looking at our worthy of doing what has the best ROI on the time that we invest. So we held several trainings. One was with the Wyoming Job Workforce Center. Very successful. We had some smaller events, and we're just really trying to take all these things into account and see what's best for the Chamber, where do we serve the best, how do we cultivate businesses and try and help them grow. So things that we're looking forward to this year is more members. Like I said, we're looking at things that are best for the ROI. We're dialing back some of the things that we're doing on more members that would we can serve and help them grow. And through that, we're in the second year of our adjusted membership pricing. The reason we did that was because before you were told which level of membership you belonged in. Now they have a choice to. For those, we went up on some of the pricing, got rid of some of the lower pricing, but I think it adds more value to the Chamber, and therefore the Chamber businesses.
Billy, how many members do you have right now?
Right now, we're sitting at about 45 members. Our goal was to get to 100. Not sure that's really a doable number that we're going to be able to reach. So, but with some of that, with the numbers, the price of the membership going up, it does help. So you have a little bit lower membership, but they pay a little. But definitely want to grow that membership. We're looking at grabbing members from out of the county that are advertising with the local radio station. So we're going after some of those. Laramie seems to have about 8 different companies that are advertising and selling in, invite them to be a part of it. So the thing we're doing is we're redoing the Star up on the hill up here. It's going to have some LED lights, some things that are more sustainable so that we're not going up there as often as people have been over the past. That is quite the undertaking. I had no idea the best star is like 30 feet tall. Yeah, when you're sitting downtown and you're thinking, oh, that 10-foot star, you know, but it's over 30 feet. That's something we're redoing. We have this year another job fair that will be coming up with a Wyoming Job Fair. So with the Wyoming there, so that will hopefully help, with some good. Questions for us?
Or wasn't that a project that was gonna be rebuilt by the, welding shop and stuff?
Yeah, they're pitching in, helping with that as well, yeah.
So it's a total rebuild of it?
Total rebuild of the star, new lights, LED lights, things like that, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question, what, as a chamber member, what services do you provide for them, or what benefits do they get from belonging to the chamber?
One of the, we do a lot of networking, where we're actually gonna be wrapping that up this year, that's how it is. But networking with other businesses, giving people the opportunity to come into your business, what you do, how you do it, and cultivate some relationships. Another thing is, advertising. We have a booklet that should be, coming out that has businesses in it. One of the things that we're kind of stuck on is, we advertise for businesses that are not members. How do we get their name out there and add some value to that? So that I really want done.
You have a full board?
We have, 5 members on the board right now. Our bylaws call for 3, so finding people to serve and volunteers is, I think, all boards here in town.
Thank you, appreciate
Good luck to you. Yes, thank you. It's a challenge. Yeah, thank you so much. I'd love to see it, you know? Absolutely.
All right, so next is the Wyoming Frontier Prison Loyalty and Joint Powers Board.
Okay, they have volunteers coming closer to 8 aren't here.
Oh, okay.
Just because we're so early.
Yeah, we are.
The airport's ready.
Is
Yeah, the airport.
Garden County Airport Board?
Sorry.
Could you have that? Prior, airplanes and flight obligations every other Tuesday. Okay. All right, sorry, go ahead, thanks for coming.
Okay, my name is Sarah, I'm here on behalf of all the Garden County Airport Board. Is, airport, has been in existence here for a very long time. We, are working to continue that tradition. Right now, the airport, the local community by hosting, air and medevac services for the area, and, allowing, finding a place for doctors to fly in. There's a lot of services here. Our funding in the main is from several sources. We have some generous support from the city of the towns, and I believe Golden Pass.
So, this is the Joint Powers Board, correct? Have you asked for funding from the? You plan on it?
Do you have, any project scheduled for the air? Like new runways or? Well, we just
planning a light-on project this year, we just all the asphalt, asphalt. The next on our scope is building. And after that, we will, after, taxiway lines.
Airport looks good. Needs to be a pilot. The runway.
Funding comes from your nautical, Wyoming Aeronautics Division or something. They require you to match, but in, is it 20% on the project?
Most of the projects is please with their tier. Realize how.
Building hot shots, there too.
Yeah, the helicopter crews are, they moved the helicopter.
Any other questions? No, thank you, sir. So, we are,
We got somebody
we're going to, take a break, I guess, until either somebody with Stepping Stones comes or we have the Frontier Prison.
Project Reach is here,
Oh, okay.
but she said she's having trouble hearing.
Well, we just need to hear her.
Not her at all.
Only heard you a little.
Can you hear us better now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, so, I'll turn the floor over to you and, tell us who you are and then just, tell us about what you do and your request.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity to meet with you guys tonight. My name is Jamie Stein, and I am the Executive Director for Developmental Preschool and Daycare Center, which is the parent organization for Project Reach in Rollins. So I am here in Nicole's absence since she's out on spring break this week. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to Zoom in and be present this way. Project Reach, as you know, is a early intervention and preschool program there in Rollins. We serve children birth through 5 with developmental services and preschool opportunities for children with and without disabilities. As part of the services that we provide, we include developmental screenings for all children birth to 5, comprehensive evaluations, and then if a child is determined to have a delay or disability, we provide early intervention and special education services for those kids. Typically, in a given year, we will do roughly 150 screenings for children, about 100 evaluations, and then we typically will serve somewhere close to 100 children with developmental needs throughout the course of the year. We serve approximately 50 preschool age children in our preschool and about an additional 30 children that receive early intervention services at another preschool like Head Start or at the school district preschool or other private preschools in the the area. And then we have about 15 infants birth to 2 years old that we serve with services in their home environment as well. Roughly about 50% of the families that we serve at Project Reach are low to moderate income. So we do serve a pretty broad range of families throughout the community. The funding that we receive through the city and other local sources is used to help us meet our 3% match that we are required to provide to access about $850,000 in federal and state funding. So it really goes a long way in helping us to raise that roughly $25,000 from local sources that we have to have for that match. So we appreciate the city and what you have provided for us in the past, and we look forward to a continued partnership with the city moving forward. With that, I would stand for any questions.
I don't think anybody here has any questions. I'm pretty familiar with your program and appreciate those services. I didn't realize that you had to do the 3% match thing, but that information is very helpful, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Anybody else have any?
Thank you for the great program that you run.
You're very welcome. We're glad to be there.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Mayor, we do have Stepping Stones Youth Home representative here, so.
Good evening. I'm Alicia Peterson. I'm the director at Stepping Stones Youth Home. Thank you for letting me come. We have been open since February 15th of this year, and in the last 6 weeks, we've had 7 families that we've assisted, 7 youth that have been assisted with our services. Otherwise, that would have been displaced in other counties. We have 5 that are still with us. The foundation with our, the help and support of the community has been awesome. It's been a for better support, and we'll continue to we'll be able to serve our community, keep our in our community.
I really appreciate your hard work, and I'm so glad that your organization is a very necessary part of our crisis center. And before we had that, we were taking bad situations. Backseat of a police car with somebody they didn't know. They held them 100 miles away from home, giving them and it just was not a service to the church. So it's very important that we run it here. Have it done here, and I really appreciate your working with the county mostly, but working with us to get that crisis center. Unfortunately, very necessary. And I really appreciate
And that occurs. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good. A lot of families have been calling our support. Other centers are referrals. (24/7), fully staffed, always there, available. And family. Everyone.
Well, let's hope it keeps going.
Yes. And county support.
Questions?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
wanted that to be a little more painful, though.
Thank you.
So, we're down to the last one, right?
Yes, sir, and they're ready.
And are you ready?
Yeah.
They look all pretty serious. Come on up.
And up you all. Big nose George joke, I'll have the next time. All right.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. We are the Wyoming Center Prison staff and the Old Hen Joint Powers Board. I am the Historic Site Director. With me, I have Galen Hyatt, who's my bookkeeper, office manager. I have Jeremy Waller, Friends of the Old Hen Gift Shop manager. Members of my board, I have my fearless leader, Glenna Costa, who is our chair. I have Lee Nation, right there, who is our secretary, and I have Sherry Schoenberg, who is on my board. Since 1991, the Old Hen, as we are affectionately, has been operated by the Old Hen Joint Powers Board. The mission of the Old Hen Joint Powers Board is to preserve and operate the Wyoming Frontier Prison site for the community through its historic significance, tourism, education, and recreation residents of Carbon Canyon. A recent study provided by the American Alliance of Museums, 9% of Americans, regardless of political persuasion, see that museums provide important economic. Museums in the United States contribute nearly $1 billion annually to the nation's economy. Even though many museums operate as nonprofits, they generate $8 billion in federal taxes and $4 billion in state and local taxes. In Wyoming, the total financial impact that museums have on the economy is $198 million, with $36 million in federal taxes and $17.3 million in state and local taxes. 2021, even in COVID, when the Wyoming Frontier Prison contributed approximately $1.4 million to our local economy. For daily operations and our special events went better than expected in 2021. We had 13,269 visitors in 2021, which is a 24% increase over 2020. Out of our 13,269 visitors, 87% of them came from out of Carbon County. There's a lot of people into Rollins. We also had 113 dogs, 2 cats, and a bear take our children. After having to cancel in 2020, the 2021 masquerade had a small but fun group that danced the night away to still house blues while enjoying beverages and snacks. The haunted Halloween night tours were extremely successful, with 803 out of the big house returned in 2021 with 561 participants. Old Hen participates in community events and services such as the city walking path that winds up to the prison cemetery, the Rollins Community Garden, which is located on the prison grounds, and the City of Rollins Cleanup Day. Old Hen staff members serve on state and local organizations such as the Colorado Wyoming Association of Museums, Carbon County Wyoming State Historical Society, Rollins Tourism Committee, Rollins Carbon County Chamber of Commerce, and the Friends. Currently, we offer tours at 10:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. Our full season will begin on May 28th and will be open 7 days a week. We have several paranormal investigation groups interested in visiting us this summer, including a live podcaster with 1.36 million followers. The 8th annual Halloween Masquerade will be held on October 21st. This is a gathering featuring Key atmosphere and hors d'oeuvres and adult beverages and live music. Then, of course, it'll be time for our haunted Halloween night tours on October 28th. Offer 33 tours over the course of these 3 nights for a quite fully good time. Our Halloween tours are one of the largest Halloween attractions in the county. The Old Penn Fire Board is requesting $35,000 in funding from the from the city of Rollins this year. It's a much needed increase over the last several years. The request is divided into 2 parts. First, and the most important, is operational funding. Along with preserving the interesting and vital history of the Wyoming Frontier Prison, the Old Penn Fire Board is committed to contributing to Rollins' economy. They said even in the COVID year, our visitors contributed approximately $1.4 million to our local economy. Not function without the city of Rollins' assistance operational funding. Marketing, wage costs for staff, office supplies, insurance, utilities, water care, ongoing repairs. The necessity to allow the Wyoming Frontier Prison to function as the important community and visitor resource that we are. Everyone is aware these operational costs are increasing. Further, during the March board meeting, the board expressed their desire to solidify their commitment to the people who make the Wyoming Frontier Prison small and dedicated. If the city of Rollins and Carbon County are able to provide more robust funding, the board would like to be able to offer the staff a more competitive wage to attract the very best people to share and protect our historic sites. Moving the guard quarters further along through local government support is the second part of it. The city of Rollins was a partner in the guard quarters project from the very beginning. As reported in our written funding request submitted to you, construction costs are skyrocketing. We are hopeful that some gap funding will be made available for our project through the state of Wyoming. I have to write additional. But if the city were able to provide additional funding as a local government, that show of support will help us leverage additional outside funding for the area the city of Rollins can help with would be the beautiful ADA accessible sidewalks needed for the front of the. So many of the city council members and the city staff have not yet seen the progress that has been made in the guard quarters. Old Penn Joint Powers Board and the staff would love to show you all around at your earliest convenience. Here we try to expand the services we provide for our community. Wyoming Frontier Prison staff spend a lot of time writing grants for projects and we're awarded a majority of the grants we apply for. Finding operational funds. Both Penn Joint Powers Board and the Wyoming Frontier Prison, all of the support that we have always received. As always, we look forward to working with you. As an assistant, we would like to show you the professional video we were able to have produced through the generous support of the Carbon County Visitors Council. Oh, here's a video here. This video is on the City of Rollins' website, the Wyoming Frontier Prison's website, Facebook, and things. We're also providing you with Friends of the Old Penn membership information. In the audience, don't go away, you're going to get one. And our brand new brochure created by our board member, Sherry. Here's our video.
Maybe cross your fingers.
Come to the time at the Wyoming Frontier Prison in Rollins, Wyoming. Some of the states most intimately found themselves under lock and key beginning in 1901. At the Wyoming Frontier Prison, you can walk in the inmates' footsteps, stand in your cell block, look out onto the stained ground. These artists and trained robbers, riots and inmate artists. At the Wyoming Frontier Prison, our tour guides explain how the factory on site evolved over time and how the inmates spent their free time. We'll show you the gallows, the gas chamber, and the various methods of discipline. We may even bring you face to face with spirit with those who still linger in the walls. Live a piece of the Wild West at the Wyoming Frontier Prison. Does anyone have any questions for any of us?
This is the joint powers board, so you're asking for funding from the county also.
County doesn't look at the this county. Up the. I think we. What you. I will give you that. All from the same community. I
So,
just wanted to say that because all we do that.
believe me, that option, and it does bother us because but that is $1,000 a month, the big string for that. So as you know, I like to travel with a posse. You guys want to come when we go in front of the county?
You know what, I don't think that's a bad idea, I would love to go.
Thank you.
I would, and I'll tell you why.
No.
Linda and I talked about this, when she was the clerk and I was the commissioner, always, city always sets her budget first in the county. And we always used to call the city and say, you know, what are you doing for these two joint power boards that we're involved with? And then we'd be like, God, we're giving them too much, so we would match it, you know what I mean? But it was a partnership, and that's what a joint power board is. And so, if honestly, I would like to go and present them with that. The fact that we're a joint powers board, we should be, I'll go.
Thank you.
All they can do, they can only tell you once.
And then I have plans for my afterlife, so.
Well, I'm never running for election again, so I have nothing to. No, but it is a problem, and, you guys do so much. I mean, as far as, tourism goes, there's a lot of places that pop up, certain, that's a real deal here. This is the real thing, and, I appreciate everything you guys do, but I think we can do better, and it, of course, that means money. And so, you know, if I can help you get some money.
I was, the national program that they posted adventures or whatever it was, that came into the program. It was really highlighting one of the people of Wyoming. But I would like to ask you a little bit more about the guards quarters, Tina, and you mentioned you needed some gap funding, and how much more funding do you think you need, and what are we talking about for numbers? What would the city have to have matching funds or?
Much matching funds. And I don't know if there's any work.
Common work.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You know, a lot of people that can do lots of stuff to figure out who does it.
Right. So, as I explained in the written report, we got two big things again. HUD came back and said that several Wyoming projects did not meet the facade down. It's just our luck that our project is the only still going on. We lost $109,000 one day. And that was through no fault of the Wyoming Frontier Prison or the city of Rollins. I just didn't, Wyoming Business Council staff was not able to. And then our construction costs are about 30% over thanks to COVID. And total, we need $200,000 to finish the project. I still have hope. Governor Gordon has, because I'm not the only one, there's 10 project reports in Fox Springs, there's the, Laramie, so originally Governor Gordon had a Rise and Thrive plan. He had $10 million for our project. The Appropriations Committee, so several of us spoke to all of our legislators, putting that item into the local project pot at $50 million. The SLIB board is now in charge of our 10 projects, and I to the board, and the SLIB board is coming up with an application process. We won't know anything until at least May. So I am ever hopeful that I can go into that way, go up in front of the SLIB project in the first, and hopefully that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to write another Laramie.
Let us know where we can fit in.
Yeah, that deal of being halfway through with the project and then finding out that the funding, that was happening. Yeah, and I spoke to a few people about, that's just a dirty trick. That should never get turned down before the thing not happen. I do appreciate your.
Andy says no, let me.
Actual Wolverines, man. No, it's a hard job, and like you said, you can get money to build anything, but you can't get money to run anything. I get the overhead or that, and, but I lose sight of the fact that everybody else is holding up something that's plastic, and you got the real thing. I mean, I always base that on that. I would much rather go see the whole pen than I would some other attraction, So I'll help you all we can. And with that, I think we're done.
You don't have to go home, but you can stay here.
Yeah. All right, I will close this meeting at exactly 8:00.